Hi, it's Kat and welcome to day 9 of the 12 days of Christmas. Today I'm going to be making this card with you using our Mirri Essentials that is currently on a buy one get one free. Okay, to start this card I've taken a 7" by 5" card blank and I've layered that with a piece of our frosted green Mirri that's cut to 3 notches under the 7" by 3 notches under the 5". And to top that I need to cut another layer, so I will bring in my white ink me and we're going to cut this down to 6 notches under the 7". By 6 notches under the 5". And before we add that to our card, we're going to do some die cutting. So I'll bring in my die cut machine and my plates. And I'm going to take the smallest of our snowflake dies. And I'll cut this from some white ink me. And put that on there. And I'm just, because it's quite a fine die, I'm just going to place another little bit of card over the top to act as a shim. And I'm going to run it through the die cutting machine back and forth a couple of times to get a nice clean cut. And you want to repeat this process till you have 5 snowflake die cuts. I'll just take that out of there. I'm going to give the die a brush on the back just to get out the loosest of the excess bits that are cut in. And then we'll just pop it out using the release holes. And everything is out of there beautifully. So I'm going to pop that down. I'm going to bring in the other ones that I've already cut. We're going to take in that base layer of our cardstock. And we're going to start by adding these onto our card blank to give an embossed effect. So I'm going to take my scrap from my die cut and I'm just going to turn this over. And I'm going to use my glue stick on the back to give this a good covering, and you can see exactly where you're using your glue because it's that lovely purple colour that will dry clear. And we're going to add this onto our base. Now with my first one, I am going to stick it over the edge of the cardstock, and then when it's lovely and dry, I can take away any excess using my scissors. And we'll just repeat this process for 3 more of the snowflakes. So I'm going to put 3 into the top left hand corner. And we'll pop 1 in the bottom right hand corner. And my 5th one I'm just going to hold back for another step in the card. And we'll bring this just off the edge. And we'll leave that to dry while we move on to the next step of our card. So I'm going to take the larger layer for this snowflake and I'm going to cut that out of my frosted green Mirri. So I'll place that in there. I'll just use my shim again. and that's come beautifully out of the die. So just brush away any excess. Everything's popped out, and then we're going to layer this remaining white ink me die back onto the frosted green Mirri one. And then we're just going to pop that to one side while we work on the next layer of our card. So I've taken another section of white ink me. This is cut to 5 inches by 2.5 inches, and then I've cut a layer of the frosted green Mirri, and this is 3 notches under the 5 and 3 notches under the 2.5, and I'm just going to repeat another layer like we did for the top. So this will be 6 notches under the 5 inches and 6 notches under the 2.5 inches. And this should fit on there. But before we stick that together, I'm going to again pop that to one side, and we're going to do a little bit more die cutting. Bring in some more white ink me. And this time I'm going to be taking our snow combo die. And you want to cut this 3 times from the white cardstock. So we pop that out of there. Oops. And I've cut it another 2 times, and we're just going to take this top layer here and we're going to add it onto here. So we're going to add 1 in the middle, 1 to the top and 1 to the bottom, and we're just going to add our tape, not our tape, sorry, our glue just in the center where we know it's going to hold down. And I'm not adding this to my other layers yet because I am going to add some stamping detail, and I just want to make sure I've got a lovely flat surface. So 1 at the bottom, 1 in the middle, and 1 at the top, making sure you've got enough room to add your little stamp sentiment that's coming next. So we'll take that away, and we're going to go to the combo dies, and we're going to take, the stamps, and we're going to take Let It, and pop that onto our acrylic block. And I've got our Prism Shimmer ink pad, and this is in the colour Arctic Mist. And we're just going to add Let It Snow to the top of each of these. And now we can use our construction glue on the back and stick this to the base layer that we created. That on there, and just put it to the side to let it dry while we finish our basic card construction. So I'm going to bring back in the layer that we did here, and now that it's nice and dry, we're going to trim away any of the snowflakes that are falling over the edge. And now we can add this to our base. Just line this up and pop it down. We're going to bring in our mirrored snowflake, and we're just going to line this up before we stick anything down to make sure it goes where we want it to, and we want it to come over this way so we know whereabouts we want to place it. So we can add some more of our purple glue stick to the back. And just press that down. And now we're just going to finish by adding some foam pads to the back of this section, just to raise it up slightly and give it a bit more interest. I'm going to pop this just centrally to the right hand side of the card, overlapping our mirrored snowflake. And there we have our finished card.